Alright, this is going to be a quick rundown to bring everybody up to speed and so I can remember what I did in the future because I didn't really document it. This was the donor car where I got the wiring harness from. This was a 94 DX. Can't really see the entire VIN. Might be able to see it later. Made in the USA. Yay. Rather have it made in Japan. Anyway. There is the color. There is the instrument cluster that I picked up, not realizing that it had no tachometer over on the left, and that made me go out and buy another instrument cluster out of a 2000 Civic EX, and I'll be using that eventually once I hook this up. Anyway, that's yet to come. That file didn't work. These are pictures. Didn't get that battery. Ended up getting a different battery. Got the tie down and the battery tray. Used it on another CRX. Taking pictures to see where everything was at, located. Nothing really important. Motor mount. That's actually the motor mount that I need. Wish I would have got that. I still could go back and get that. I'm going to get one of them tomorrow. It's not the motor mount I need. I actually need the bracket that connects to the block right there. So I need to get that. I ended up getting the I think I got the fuel pressure regulator, but I definitely got the whole entire clutch and slave cylinder and master cylinder, that right there. These are all coupons. Those are the rims I picked up later. Those are $1,000 Mazda Miata rims that I didn't know. That's basically $4,000 worth of rims on a $1,000 CRX. These are all pictures that are posted. Yada 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 yada. Click, 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 click. That airbox I'm gonna not use. I actually picked up another airbox just today. Put it in. This one would be way too difficult. I'm still gonna have to modify the one I have, but at least it bolts up to the existing holes. It came out of a 1990 Civic LX. That is the JDM wiring harness. All this stuff you guys are going to know if you read the post. I ended up picking that up for that price. Actually, that's the 40 pound. I got the 110 pound one for that price. Got that cabinet for 150. There it is. That is the instrument cluster I picked up, I think, unless that's the one that came from the Civic VTI. I am not sure. I'll know by the... Nope. The blue one is from Japan. So that's the one that came with the D15 Z7 3-stage dual VTEC. That's going to be eventually going in. I believe I documented those. That's when I put the rims on the car. That was the Dremel bit that I used. This was a car I was looking at in the junkyard for donor parts. I ended up disassembling this whole thing and then just walking away from it. This is mine. So we're taking pictures of it, and that is the post that came on it. And that is not going to work with the innovative mounts that are sent. So I need to get the mounts from a D15B7 engine. That's how I hooked up to the engine. I used Mazda Miata brackets, got a bolt and a nut and some big washers from a local bolt store. And these little edges right here actually used to be kinked out. I put them in my press and flattened them because I didn't want them to catch on anything. And I don't really know why I have it hooked up there. Maybe I'm just moving it. I think that's what I was doing. I was getting it off the pallet and putting it onto the cherry picker engine hoist so that I could make it mobile. Here I'm trying to disassemble it. You guys can't really see this. This is horrible. I apologize. Not realizing that one of the bolts going through the starter actually connects the transmission to the engine block. So didn't do any harm. Luckily the bolt wasn't all the way in. I had taken it off because I had removed the starter for another reason. And that thing was really locked onto that block though. Took it off, spray painted a little spot there so I could line up the clutch with the flywheel. There's a 5H02 stamp down here. I took pictures of all the markings on the block. It's DBBCB, so Delta Bravo Bravo Charlie Bravo. I don't know why I took a picture of that. That picture came out all hazy. That's my thumb in the way. Ended up hooking up to the block up here with the washers. I changed it once the transmission was off. That's what the flywheel looked like. And there's obviously the clutch. Still has a little bit of life on it, but might as well replace it. That is the original main rear crankshaft seal. There was a nick on the flywheel over here. I don't know what that was about, but you can see it there. When I remove these, I like to take a drill bit, put the drill up onto it, pull the trigger, let it spin a little bit, and then let off the trigger, and then apply pressure to the drill so that you can drill a hole in the seal. And then I use a sheet metal screw or a tapping screw and drive the screw into the seal, and then use a hammer to pull it out. And you keep the seal. It's the best way I've found to be able to remove these kind of seals. And you're able to keep the seal and use it as a driver because it's the perfect thing to drive in the new seal. This one, obviously it broke the wire right there. So I made sure I got that out, cleaned it up, and that's how it popped out. Came out perfect. Drove the new one in. New one's in. Here is the 14-pound flywheel, Zoom, or no, I'm sorry, 7-pound flywheel from Zoom. There was a coating on this flywheel. You had to use brake cleaner. I forgot you could just use rubbing alcohol. I usually use 90% isopropanol. That's a lot less hazardous. And I did end up using that, I think, later after I wasted a bunch of brake fluid. You got the pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 87 foot-pounds you torque it down to. I had bought a bolt, don't remember the threads. Thread pitch is 1.25. It's probably a 10mm bolt. And a piece of chain, and then just put it around a transmission bolt and threaded it into the engine block. And that kept it from moving. And that's how I was able to torque those down. There's a better illustration of it there, a better picture of it. It works great. You don't need to spend that $100 for that tool. And did the same thing for the pressure plate. Snuck up on these bolts. You know, I just would do it, follow the same star pattern, and sneak up on it little by little. You don't want to warp the pressure plate. One of the issues I had with that was I couldn't tighten them down, torque them down. I think they were 19 foot-pounds. So I ended up having to hook up my leak down tester into one of the cylinders and pressurized the cylinder at bottom dead center, and that prevented the flywheel from turning so that I could torque it down properly. Here's the transmission. I think it's clean maybe at this point. You can see that thing hanging, the slave cylinder. That's going to have to be replaced. Here's all the parts that was on it. There's a transmission mount that I got from the junkyard. Yeah, along with the mounting bolts. Another Delta Bravo Bravo. Yeah, that's the same engine block. You see the flywheel. Then there's another numbers. I'm not even going to go through this. P07-1 on the head. There's the engine block, D15B, and the number. I think that was a J. That was on the solenoid. JH03. You can see that one pretty good. JH03. There's the engine and transmission separated. I got the throwout bearing installed and cleaned up the shift fork, and had to on the flywheel I had to drive the pilot bearing in. I didn't drive it, I pressed it in because I've got a press here, and I used Loctite. They said to use Loctite on it. They also said do not use Loctite on the bolts that are connecting the flywheel to the crank because of the different expansion rates. So I did as they said. That was one thing worth noting. There is, that's the old, I see rust on it, that's the old, it's got K20 on the water pump. And timing belt, PM3B, P08, P28, 581, P01, just all kinds. Anytime I saw a number or something, I found it interesting, wanted to document it. There's the timing belt cover, it's burnt. Looks like they had a fire on this engine. So these are all very clean block. I had the wrong timing belt set. I had to go swap it out because I got it for the HF. Here is the head. Very clean. Extremely clean. It looks brand new. I would believe this thing only has about 40,000 miles or so on it. Just absolutely amazing. Rolling rockers, just like the HF engine. That's gorgeous. I got a bunch of coupons. We got about 2 minutes left. And I'm going to have to do a part two. Bought most of this stuff. That was, let's see if I can go back here. Received my motor mounts for the swap, so I don't have to weld in any mounts. These things are great. This is the 49-151 kit. I ordered the wrong kit. I actually needed the 49-152 kit for the 92 to 2000 engine. If you're just using the 92 to 2000 transmission with a EF 88 to 91 engine, this is the kit you want. But if you're using the transmission and engine from a 92 and up to 2000, you're going to need the 49-152. And I'm going to do a review on that kit eventually. And this is the mount that came with it. That mount will not fit. You can see the burn. There's a bunch of pictures of this, which I ended up putting these in the wrong spot. Let's see here. I bought a bunch of stuff. I ended up returning that because I couldn't break. Those are great. Couldn't break the crank shaft bolt off in the junkyard. That's how they're set up when they're in the car, and there'll be more pictures of that soon. And I'll go ahead and stop it here and pick up again.